Shemai GTA fans, the Dinka Jester RR, which is the Los Santos tuners car, is on offer for this week, but it's ending on Thursday, so you can pay 1 million if you got discount or 1.4 million for this car without the discount. So what I'm going to do is take you through the customization when I get to my shed, and then I'll be taking it on the racetrack and talk you through the race characteristics of this car. So do leap ahead in the chapters if you fancy a bit of that. So customization. Well, first off, I've sped it up because it's quite long. It was 8 minutes, but there are a lot of customizations on this car. First off, I'm getting the colours right, so I want to go for blue and yellow because I think those would suit what I'm looking for this car. It's something a bit different than the other Los Santos tuners cars. Here are the oh, that's nice, that looks like a Jester. I mean, it is a Jester, so why not make it look like a Jester? I think that's my favourite. That's the livery we're going to go with, the orange and the blue. I want the secondary colour to appear in the front bumper and the rear bumper too. Lots of great options here. The engine, the usual, I'll just like to expose the pulleys, and for the crossbar just get a secondary kind of colour in there, so this one is nice. And exhaust, we want 4 exhausts, pretty much stock. Yellow goes with the blue. Got to keep the hatches on the hood to keep the hood down. We're flying at speed, the twin vents on the hood. Internally, never going to look at this, but why not go for a bit of a carbon look? And put some dials on, the more the merrier. Race seats, bucket seats. I've not used those yet, which is nice. A new steering wheel, and couldn't decide on the which one to go for, so I went for a basic one with the secondary colour, which I wanted to keep off, so I wanted to leave the louvres off, but I do like louvres. It stops people from shooting you from the rear a little bit. At least they can't see you anyway. You can't shoot out a louvre either. As you can see, lots of customizations. I'm going to go with a nice wing there. You don't need to get. I don't know why I got this. I got the Meinmacht one, but I like the word. It's German. It's German, isn't it? And that's it. We are complete. Now it's the test track's turn. This is our best lap. So there is a bit of understeer. There's not as much understeer as the Coleco. Now this car is based on a Toyota Supra. The Coleco is based on a Toyota Celica. So the Supra was like the flagship back in the day, but 2-wheel drive this is as well, from the rear wheel drive. Once you've figured out your corners, it goes a lot nicer. The times were dropping, so I could probably nudge the times down a bit more, but it was pretty solid on the roads. I didn't spin it out, and once you correct for the understeer, then you are fine to go. And I think you can. It's a good race car. Quite a good race car. But is it my favourite though? I certainly like the look to it. It's a good looking car. So many customization options, which is nice. Okay, so there we are, 57.31, which is not too bad as times go. So look at a test track table there. We can see it's similar to the Comet S2. Actually, it's quite a bit faster than the Comet S2, but I think of the two as being quite similar. I think I could nudge the Comet S2 up a bit, but it's not as good as the Sultan RS Classic in the kind of grey colour, all the Los Santos tuners cars there. And it's probably not as good as the Coleco if you know how to drive the Coleco. Don't be misguided by my times on here, because in actual races I did perform a bit better in the Coleco than on the test track. Okay, so that's what it's like to drive stock. Now, I've lowered the suspension. It's got that had competition suspension. That's what I didn't tell you. But now I'm going to lower the stance. Now, I did do a test track race once around. Actually, I did about 4 or 5 times. But what I found was that I don't think I did as good on the track with a lowered stance. It does accelerate a bit quicker. I'm going from side to side here to show you how stable it is across the bumps as well. So that's with a lowered stance as well. So it's a pretty stable car with regards to racing. So if people try and knock you off your course, it shouldn't be too bad. on the whole, and you shouldn't be having problems by bumping over a little bit of grass. Shouldn't hurt it too much. So yeah, it's quite good for kind of beginners, moderate level kind of racers. It's quite capable, but there are better cars such as the Sultan RS Classic, which I would always go to. I think the RS Classic is easier to drive as well, as I can demonstrate there by bumping into that wall. But would I buy it? Well, if it's on discount and it's $1 million, if it's a difference between 1 and full price 2 million for for whatever car you're going to get, well, close to 2 million RS Classic, let's round it all up, then yeah, I'd consider it. If you're really hard for cash, maybe I'd just choose this one instead, for sure, because you can learn to drive it nicely and you can be quite competitive with this car. It's not completely out in the woods with regards to performance, so worth a crack. But would I buy it instead of it? Definitely not. I'd still buy the RS Classic, because I think it's a better car, better handling, and got nice speed on it. But it's certainly worth having in your arsenal if you're into collecting your race cars and getting into some races, because it's fun to drive. It looks great. So for those reasons, for those reasons I did buy it, and I'm glad I did. But I would buy other cars in front of it. So yeah, I suppose it's time to go and do the old KO Perico heist. Hit that like button as I call my helicopter in preparation for my next dawn raid. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to give me your comments and your thoughts on the Dinka Jester RR, not RR Martin. Thank you very much for watching. Suppose I better make some money to pay for all these cars.